Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Stansfield's Educational Videos. Today we're going to be talking about organizing our files as we download images off of a memory card to the computer and backing up to Google Drive. We'll also talk about going the reverse direction, downloading from Google Drive onto our computers. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got a memory card. We're going to put it into the memory card reader on the computer. Once we do, we'll see a Canon DC device pop up down over here in a Finder window. And if you don't have a Finder window, you can see I've got Bridge open here. If this isn't here, if you find your desktop, you can double click on that Canon DC, or you can click on the Finder down here and it'll open up a new window. So what we're going to do is talk about first downloading our images to the computer. Now because we all have our own individual logins, when we log into the computer, we'll see our name up here in the upper right hand corner. We're going to save everything to the Pictures folder right here. And it's a little bit easier to do this if we have a new Finder window. So I'm going to go here, Command N is the shortcut key. And I'm going to have two windows. I'm going to click this Canon DC, DCIM 123. And this number may change depending on how many pictures we have and whether or not we've formatted our cards correctly. Select one image by single clicking, and then the shortcut key for selecting all is Command A, and that will select all the images. The other thing you can do is go Edit, Select All. You can see Command A is the shortcut key right there. We're going to go over here, we're going to select the Pictures folder, and every time we download our pictures, we're going to want to make a new folder. You can see I've got a couple of folders right here. This is the decisive moment, and you can see I've done this demo a couple of times, so I've got a couple of folders here. What I'm going to do is make a new folder. I can do it a couple of ways. Right click by command clicking, new folder. I can go up here to click new folder, this little window or wheel right there. I can go to File, New Folder. The shortcut key is Shift Command N. And I'm just going to call this new folder. You're going to call it whatever the assignment is. And if you've reshot the assignment one or two times, you're going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So in this case, maybe we'll just call it actually the decisive moment 4 because I got 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go back over here. So the images are already all selected. Click and drag. Just single click. Don't double click. You see if I hover over here, it's showing me it's going to dump it into the right folder. Let go. And it only takes a minute or so to download the photos to the computer. And you can see why we're going to want to download to the computer instead of to Google Drive, because Google Drive takes a lot longer to upload the pictures. Now we want to back everything up to Google Drive. If we can back everything up to Google Drive, if one of the computers breaks and goes down sometime through the semester, if we've got it backed up on Google Drive, well, we haven't lost anything that way. But the cool thing is we want to be working off of the computer and backing up to Google Drive. Now, if you want to download photos at home and you have a card reader, you can actually upload them to Drive at home. That's totally fine. Save yourself a little bit of time in the morning when you're returning the camera. And I'll show you how to download from Drive in just a minute. So let's go ahead and take a look at these pictures here. One of the ways that you can quickly get to a folder if you're in the Finder right here in Bridge is actually just to drag that folder down into Bridge. Now I've got a Bridge open right here, and you can see we're in the right place. If you look up here, Computer, User, Stansfield, etc., you can see Pictures and then the Decisive Moment 4. That's the folder. If we go to Folders right here, things are moving a little slowly. Here we go. If we go into Folders, there it is, Pictures, Decisive Moment 4. I can bring that out so we can see it a little bit better. Favorites, we can always click on the Pictures folder, and then there it is, Decisive Moment 4. And we can see that this student who shot these pictures went down to the skate park, got some great, what looked to be some really great Decisive Moment pictures. So that's really the basics for downloading and organizing. Every time you download, make a new folder in the Pictures folder. After you've done that, let's talk about archiving the images to Google Drive. So I can close this. To eject the memory card, you always want to eject the memory card. You click this little triangle with a line under it. Or if you don't have a Finder window open and you've got your desktop, you can click and drag that down to the trash and it will eject. I usually wait till it disappears and then count to 1, 2, 3, and then I can take the memory card out. So let's go over here to Google Drive. You can see I've got my account open here. And I'm going to go ahead up to my selector on Chrome. I've got a little Chrome extension that allows me to select Google Drive, and it's all accessible from right there. Now let's say I've uploaded my images to Google Drive from home. We can talk about how to download the images first, and then we'll talk about archiving them from the computer. So if I've got my images from home and I want to download them to the computer, I'm going to go to My Drive. You can see here that I've got a folder named photography. If I double click on it, that'll open that up. And then hopefully I've made a new folder in the photography. I have Decisive Moment Homework 1 and Decisive Moment Homework 2. And so if you look in here, if I double click on Decisive Moment Homework 2, looks like there's a lot of pictures in there. So what I'm going to do is go back to this photography, and I'm going to right click or control click on a Mac and just select download. And you see down here in the lower right hand corner it says preparing download. It might take a couple of seconds, it might take a couple of minutes. If I've got 100 photos, it's probably going to take a while for it to prepare. What it's doing when it's preparing the download is actually creating a zip file, which is a single file of all of the images. It makes it into one file. I can download a single file onto the computer. You can see that this window will pop up once it's done preparing. And what I'm going to do is save it right here to Pictures, and I'm just going to save it as the default and then click Save, and it's going to download. You'll see it pop up down over here. About 2 minutes to download that zip file. So what it does, it takes all of those photos, there's like 70-something pictures in this folder, makes them into one file, and then when we download it, I'll show you, you just double click on the zip file, it'll unzip the file, and then you've got a folder with all your pictures. So it'll be the exact thing that you had on Google Drive. So the same thing that we would do for copying a photo to the computer, we're going to do to Drive now. So I'm in my photography folder. I'm going to right click here, new folder. I can also go to the new over here. I'm going to call this Decisive Moment 4. Even though I only have 2 in here, I want to keep the same naming as I did before. New Finder window, go to Pictures, Decisive Moment 4. Command A is the shortcut key. I want to double click that, right? Come back over here, and I'm going to copy those pictures into Decisive Moment 4. And you can see there are 49 items here. It's going to take a while to upload. The cool thing is, as these are uploading, I can actually click on Bridge, and I can be looking at these pictures and going through and looking at the metadata and opening them up in Photo. I can do all of that stuff while they're backing up to Google Drive. So that's how to download the pictures, organize them on the computer, archive them as a backup up to Google Drive, and then also download from Google Drive. Let's go over the last thing here, and what we're going to do is these are uploading. I can just minimize that. If we look right here, the download is done for the zip file. You guys see this right here? We can see the Decisive Moment zip. Double click it. This little archive utility should pop up. It'll unzip it. It might take 30 seconds to a minute to unzip it. And then I'm going to have a folder with all of the pictures that I downloaded from Google Drive. There it is. It is called Decisive Moment Homework. So it's kind of it's a little confusing here because the folder was named the same thing as the folder that we had right here. So we can see it's actually the same thing. I've already got those images in there. It's going to basically name the folder that you downloaded. Okay, and then I can actually go ahead, right click here and delete or move to trash, or I can actually just drag it to the trash. Maybe spinning pinwheel of death. But after we've unzipped the file, we can move it to the trash. And that's basically it. That's what we're going to want to do to download and organize our files.